I wish to make an observation on boats. I'm going to share with you a very interesting comment that somebody made, and also I would like to share with you some ideas I have as to ways in which I hope the boats will develop in future. So first of all, let me get out of F5 and let me pull up my map, and you can see the boat does not show up on the map. It's really a point to remember if, like me, you are geographically challenged. I can get lost in an empty room, so finding my way back to a boat if it doesn't show up on a map could be difficult. Now, I played with Saraty, one of the devs on a server, and I noticed that to make a path between herself and another build, she had used loose stones on the floor. So what you can do is, if you go, if you go exploring, take some loose stones. Now these don't work so well because they're granite, and this is granite sand. I don't know if they will show up. I don't know if those will show up on the map because they're granite sand. No, they don't. But if you had something like bauxite, this would actually show up on the map as being separate stones. And you can leave a little trail, or you could leave something that would show up on the map as to where you had left your boat. Now it would have to be something that would stand out on a map like this. So most of these won't stand out. High fertility soil would certainly send up some signals, but I would suggest something that's a really strong colour, slate or something like that, that would show up. Bauxite would be best, so that you can find your way back to your boat. Otherwise, if on several occasions I've gone off wandering and exploring and had to really think where my boat is. So that's just my observation. The next thing I want to share with you is a comment from Rob G2484. Hi there. And he said, I wonder how security will work for boats on multiplayer. Some kind of vehicle claim system would be a nice addition, rather than making property claims to secure them whilst on a journey. I can see piracy as a new threat on multiplayer servers now. Oh my goodness. And then Tomina Duncanson said, perfect time to start a navy. Because traditionally naval personnel love hunting pirates and slavers. Sign me up for the first available frigate. I think that's very, very interesting comment, in that I suspect that a lot of people will be wondering how we secure our boats. I do know that on servers one of the main problems is the theft of lanterns. The first server I played on was an Aura Fury server, which is now called Ancient Paths, where I set up a whole area with my friend Copygirl, which we called Pendle, and we were witches. It was terrific fun. But the person who ran the server, Econ Brony and Ramgirl, the persons who ran the server, had to claim an entire tunnel because they'd put lanterns in, and new people to the server are desperate for light and they steal lanterns. So I can quite see that if these boats are not secured, at the worst someone can just click in and sail your boat and all your cargo away. At the least they could take your lantern or some of the rigging. And in fact, if they were really nasty and had a saw with them, and I think anyone who's got to the saw level could probably build their own boat, but they could actually take the whole thing apart and take it with them. Now, I'm not saying that Vintage Store is full of people who would do that, But if we are off exploring somewhere, or if your boat is parked near your home, moored, not parked, moored near your home, and you've gone off to, you know, do something or explore, or suppose you're in caving and you die and your boat is on the shoreline, it's up to anyone to just pick it up at the moment. I don't know whether that's a soluble problem. And again, if the boat is not named or marked indelibly, there's nothing to say it's your boat and not somebody else's. Just swap the lantern colour over. Who's to tell whose boat it is? So this is, to me, I think, quite an issue on big servers. Big servers. Now, obviously, it's difficult to make this yours in the same way that you could fortify, say, a couple of chests over here. You could fortify them, or make them yours, or you can't land claim a boat. So I don't know how we're going to get round this problem, if it is a problem. There may be some way of doing it, I don't know, I'm not a developer. But to me, that seems a problem. I have some hopes and dreams for the future that I thought I would share with you. You've probably all realised that I am absolutely thrilled by this boat. I love it, and if you watch just day 1 and day 2 of my sailing adventures, which are just gently exploring, this is an extremely addictive method of travel. It really is. It's fantastic. I mean, when I look at the ground I covered, you know, I've been right up here, I went right up to here, you know, I've been all over this area. Really fantastic. So I have sailed from there down to here and explored in just a couple of days, and half of that was reed collecting. So it's a really, really great way of exploring. I also think take a spade with you, because I would dig a channel through here and see what's in this area. Some of my lakes here will link up, but on a new server you could do that a lot more easily, I suspect. Anyway, what I was going to say is I think this is going to be a highly addictive method of travel. I was wondering whether, I mean, you can carry a bed and sleep on shore, but to me you're much safer moored outside. Do you think it would be possible to actually have a bed instead of 2 of the chests, so that you could stay on your boat? I mean, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Some way of staying overnight on the boat. The other thing, of course, is that when you're staying overnight, if you stay overnight on a real boat, it is perfectly possible to be overnight on the boat, and most people would take the boom down. That's the boom up there. You take it down and you would put it lengthways along the boat. You secure it with these halyards, and then we would put a tent over the top. In fact, use the sail to make a tent. And then if you had a bed where 2 of these chests are, lengthways I would suspect, you could sleep under the safety of your sail. That would be fantastic. Whether it can be made secure against mobs, I don't think they're going to spawn on this boat because it's see-through, because I can walk through it. So I don't think this is spawnable. But we can only sit on the boat at the moment, we can't walk on it. So whether you could sleep on a bed in the boat and whether you could move the boom down and put the sail over for the night, I don't know. But it's a fantastic thought. The other thing is that when you're on real sailboats, if you are in a place where you moor in a buoy in the harbour, you have what's called a tender, and that is a small boat that you tow along behind you. I was just wondering whether we are likely in the future to be able to tow another boat or to tow a tender or something like that. It would be truly fantastic if we could tow another boat, don't you think? It'd be really wonderful. I'm taking photos because it looks so gorgeous. I obviously would like to be able to name boats. I'd like to have little flags of different colours. I'd love to have multicoloured sails. You know, we have coloured linen, why not? It would be fabulous, and it would be a way of marking your boat. Maybe the sail could have your own personal logo on, you know, or something that says Ashantin's boat, property of. But the name of the boat would be lovely. I do think boats should be named. I think if I were naming this one, I call this area the Shining Sea, because the sun shines on it and you get the most wonderful reflections. It'd be lovely to call this Shining Sea, or the Lady of the Shining Seas. Anyway, those are a few of my ideas as to where I'd like to see these boats go. I suspect that once they've got this one going, for the big water worlds, I think the devs are going to want to do a bigger boat. I just love it, and I hope you love boats as much as I do, and that you've enjoyed these little extra comments. Bye bye, my friends.